I am so thrilled to have Lauren Smith Brody, one of my favorite people. I've learned so much from you. You're brilliant. You're hardworking. You're a great role model. And digging into these topics, there's no one better because not only do you mind the research, but you live it out. You live it out loud, and you teach so many of us how to show up better for ourselves as professionals, but also personally too. So, thanks for being here, Lauren.
The other bit of advice that I have to say, and I see it all the time, is that the women who make it to director level are
Yeah.
hyper capable people, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just really, really good, probably at like all the home things and all the family things and all the paid work things. And there's this temptation, obviously, to be the best at all of them. And
Perfectionism.
there's also this feeling that, like, frankly, the only easy stuff we have in our days is the stuff we did 3 jobs ago that we've held on to. And we get that feeling of like, oh, when you check the thing off your list, it's like the low hanging fruit and you're like, oh,
Yes.
do that. It takes real discipline to do that, but it's very important that you actually look at, like, if you had to write your job description, and believe me, like if you're at one of these big entities, like they can write your job description because they might have to replace you one day. What's in your job description? And then what are you actually delivering? And you're probably delivering, first of all, way above and beyond it, at which point you should be negotiating to be compensated better.
Heck yeah.
And you're probably also still doing things that were in the job description of the job you had 2 jobs ago. Yes. And it is super important to remember that in order to actually doing your job well in the current title you have means not doing all that other stuff. Because if you don't have room in your day for connections, for that sponsorship work, which, by the way, like every single person should be doing anyway. It's just some of us feel obligated to do it. If you don't have time for like big picture thinking and innovating, but like if you're in a corporate job where you have to go into the office every day, let's say, like it should actually be on your calendar, and it can be smack in the middle of the afternoon, but you need to have that time because that's your time for connecting those 2 people who you thought might get to know each other, for, thinking of like the stretch client you might like to approach and take on, for figuring out, dynamics among your own team, for really thinking that stuff through deliberately, and in a way that's like adding value, not just to your life and sanity, but also, by the way, to your employer. And if you don't have room in your schedule for those kinds of blocks of time, even if it's just 2 hours per week, it shows you're probably doing too many things that are beneath your pay grade.